Hey Arnold! Yeah, that's right. We're calling for Arnold here. We would like to have a word with him. About him. We want to talk about him just as much as we would love to see ourselves headlining film festivals in the future. Hello, I am Gibson Shamar and I am here with the Hey Arnold Talk. This is the last of the Nickelodeon shows that I have on my watch list, and it is an honor to be able to close that era out with one of its finest shows. This show was just amazing. So, you know how the videos go. If you don't, here it is. First, we talk about the characters, then we talk about the show itself. But with this case, we're gonna have to trim it down on the character side. There are so many characters in this show, so I'll just stick to what I perceive as being the core characters. Arnold, the main character of the show. I mean, his name is in the title after all. Yeah, I know. I crack myself up sometimes too. Anyway, he's a real great guy. Kind, considerate, helpful, and a bit on the naive side. He's very mature for his age, but still has the childlike naivety. He's also an orphan and lives with his grandparents. We later find out that they're his paternal grandparents. He's 9 years old, and in the 4th grade, he has a crush on a girl called Ruth in the beginning, then develops a crush on a new girl called Lila. We'll expand on that later. Grandpa Phil. He calls himself Steely Phil, at least back in the day. He's Arnold's grandfather and is there for him when he needs advice on how to solve some problems. Phil loves to talk about his past or urban legends and is very involved in Arnold's life. He is also very active and very agile for a man his age. He can still lift over 200 pounds despite being 70 years old. And skinny. I like him. Sometimes he's sarcastic. He's witty as well. He gets along with almost everyone except with his rivals. And there are quite a few of them. I mean, if you live for as long as he has, you're bound to have a few rivals. I mean, even his own sister is his rival. Seriously, dude. Guy spent decades without speaking to her, and Arnold didn't even know of her existence until the events of the show. Talk about beef. I like him. He's my kind of guy. He married his childhood tormentor, Gertie. She is such a sweet soul as an old lady. You'd have no idea what she got up to against Phil when they were kids. Then, of course, we have Grandma Gertie. She's the sweet, kind of out-of-place grandmother of Arnold. She's always ready to get up to mischief. She's also very agile for someone her age and can handle pretty much everything that's thrown at her. She makes the house a home and is very entertaining to watch. She's a hopeful person but doesn't really do much in the advice and wisdom department. She's more on the naive side of things and innocent fun. Arnold must have gotten that naivety from her. Overall, she's a very nice person to be around and a very sweet wife to have. Arnold's best friend, Gerald. He's a really cool dude. He has the same hair color as I do. He's a good friend, loyal, expressive, and laid back. He will do just about anything Arnold sets out to do if he calls him up for it, and is always available to help Arnold out of any situation that he gets himself into. He's a true bro. He comes from a family of 5. His parents, his older brother, and his younger sister. His father is a cheapskate. His mother is, well, his mother. His brother is the usual guy who bullies his younger sibling but has some sort of care for him. His little sister is the clingy type. Very traditional family structure. He feels like the odd one out, but that's likely because he's the middle child. I don't know if that's what the creators intended for it to be, but that's what one would understand from that. Then we have Helga. Boy, oh boy, Helga. She is a nutcase, a nut job, a psycho, a freak. She's a tough girl, tomboyish, selfish, conflicted, passionate, neglectful, and kind of a bully. Okay, she is a bully to Arnold. She mostly stays out of people's way until they annoy her, then she beats them up. She's strong enough to. That's probably because of her tough guy dad. He takes no nonsense from anyone. She grew up being neglected and in the shadow of her older sister, Olga, who seemed to be her parents' favorite. The only person who showed her a bit of kindness as a child was Arnold, whom she ended up falling in love with, and ironically became a victim of her relentless bullying, which she always immediately regrets. She's also highly manipulative, and a lot of the time, she's inconsequential. She doesn't suffer for the misery she causes. This was most evident in the episode when she had a nanny who was highly efficient and kept the house in perfect order. But she didn't like her because she was prepping her up to be a better person. So she framed her for theft, and she was fired and returned to her home country. The episode ended like that. Yeah, I don't know what to say about that. Anyway, she is shown to have a soft spot and a nice side because she sometimes helps Arnold out of situations and doesn't reveal herself. She's probably the most layered and complex character in the show. There are various other characters in the show that we could talk about, but it will take a long time to cover all of them properly. But in order to not just skip over them, I'll just offer their names and a one sentence description so everyone is happy and we can move on. So, let's see here. We have Harold, the tough guy bully who is Jewish, not very bright and overweight. Eugene, the unlucky, accident prone geek who always has a smile in his face. Phoebe, the half Asian genius who has a calm demeanor and acts as Helga's underling. Brainy, the creepy guy who never says anything and has a crush on Helga. He always spawns behind her, breathing intensely before getting punched by her. There's Sid, whom I thought would be some sort of bully, but is actually just a really naive, easily deceived kid who always just gets a very wrong idea about things and blows them out of proportion. Rhonda, the popular girl who believes that she sets the fashion trend in the school and has a ranking system of her own design to designate who the cool and acceptable people are. Lila, the new girl whom everyone is fond of and Arnold starts liking in later seasons, who speaks very gently, comes from a struggling household, and is enchanting towards everyone she meets. The most skeptical people would say that she's pretentious, but she's really just that nice and gentle. And it annoys Helga the most. Mr. Simmons, the teacher who stepped in as a substitute when the former teacher left the school and became a permanent member of the staff and the cast. He always has a smile on his face and tries to make things as cheery as possible and doesn't know how to be authoritative or aggressive. Stinky, the tall guy I also thought would be a bully, but is really just a hillbilly or something. And he has a very strange way of verbally expressing himself. It's amusing but strange. Also, what kind of a name is Stinky? Then there's Ernie, a short guy who works in construction. I believe, and he has tough guy air. He's short and always gets into arguments with Kakashka and Mr. Huyn. Hyun. I never really learned what that's pronounced like. Kakashka. He's from Eastern Europe, if I'm not mistaken, and he's a lazy, sneaky cheapskate who always tries to weasel out of every single situation he's in without putting any effort at all into making a living. I don't know how many times his wife has tried to end things because of that. I don't even know how he has a wife.
Hey yo, what the fuck?
Baffling. Then we have Mr. Huyn. He's Vietnamese and is also a tenant of Phil's. He's a gentle soul and sociable. He's kind and considerate towards the others, except Kakashka when he starts acting up. Even when he's mad, he still sounds gentle. Maybe it's because English isn't his first language, so he can't fully express himself. Okay, that's the best I could do. Let's get on with the show. The show was created by Craig Bartlett, Steve Vixton, and Joe Ansel Bahir. It ran for 5 seasons from 1996 to 2004 with 100 episodes. The show is drama and a bit of slice of life. We don't get action or anything like that, except when we see the flashbacks of Arnold's parents. There we get some adventure, but we generally just see kids being kids. We have a lot of strong messages about responsibility, friendship, loyalty, love, and the like. Many episodes will tear you apart emotionally, and others will leave you confused. The first episode that really did me in was the one with the bird healer dude back in season 1. Arnold's bird was unwell and he took it to the bird healer dude and he healed it. Arnold then started spending time with him and finding out about him. He learned that he used to be among normal people but was treated like an outsider due to his fascination with birds and suffered bullying and teasing. So he decided to distance himself from everything and everyone and just focus on the birds. While out with Arnold, Harold, Stinky, and Sid trashed his living quarters, and when he returned with Arnold and saw what was done to his place, he decided to just leave civilization behind altogether. He flew away with the birds. Okay, he was carried away by the birds. That episode really got to me. I felt really bad for him. And the saboteurs weren't found out. They didn't suffer any repercussions. It just ended like that. That episode broke me. Arnold comes off as very wise, but when he gets into sticky situations, it's always amusing to see. You could never imagine someone like him being in those kinds of situations because he always has advice to give others. An example of such is when he asks out his crush Ruth and she accepts, then Helga gets involved and pretends to be his pen pal from France who is coming to town to surprise him. So, she gets a makeover and plans to meet up with him. Arnold goes on his date with Ruth and has to balance things out by entertaining Helga, whom he thinks is his pen pal. The ironic part? His pen pal actually is coming to town and plans on surprising him. So Arnold spends the whole episode going back and forth between Helga and Ruth. He finds out that Ruth is messed up, then stays with Helga, and when his pen pal actually arrives, Gerald, who was helping him out the entire time, steps in and pretends to be Arnold and walks away with her. That was a super intense season finale. That episode showed me that we truly had quality programming as a child. Gerald became my favorite character in that episode. The show would have some usual episodes about childhood, but every once in a while it hit historic highs that would leave you contemplating about life. That kind of emotional roller coaster was the best thing about the show, and honestly, I think that it can only be truly understood by a more mature audience. Kids will have fun watching it, but adults will fully understand what's going on there. That's the thing about these old shows. That's what makes them very epic. That's what makes them memorable. They're for everyone. You won't feel like you're watching childish things if you watch it in your 30s and you actually pay attention to the story. And you won't feel like you're watching mature programming if you see it as a kid. It was perfectly balanced, as all things should be. Let's talk about Helga for a moment or two. I don't know what that girl is on, but she's definitely not okay up there. Of course, we can attribute her rough and tough attitude to the way her dad is and how her mom is disinterested in pretty much everything that goes on in life. We're not even going to address that. This is more about how she's kind of psychopathic. I mean, how many attempted murders does she rack up throughout the show? The worst part is that she's never caught or suffers any consequence at all. She's also responsible for Arnold's crush on Lila. She painted on a wall something expressing her feelings for him and changed it just before her schoolmates saw it into something where Arnold was confessing his feelings for Lila. And the rumor started until they eventually got into a one sided relationship. I swear this show just knew how to make entanglements entertaining. Yes, I learned that word from a very special someone. That's one thing I didn't enjoy about the show. She suffered no consequence at all for anything she did, aside from not being able to be with Arnold. The fact that she herself acknowledged how poorly she would treat him doesn't help matters either. She's still sick in the head. The guy I like to talk about is Gerald. Everyone deserves a friend like Gerald. That guy has style, class, and the best unconventional solutions to the problems Arnold can't get himself out of. I like his voice actor too. If you haven't noticed by now, yes, he is my favorite character in the show. I like how he's laid back and an underrated ladies' man. The way he saved Arnold in the season 1 finale is the best example of wingmanship that I have ever seen on the screen. That right there is what cemented him as my favorite character. I also think that he has a mutual attraction to Phoebe. On more than one occasion, they gave off that energy, but Gerald is a cool guy who doesn't stay hung up on one girl. Speaking of girls, the first episode that made me realize that this was no common cartoon was the one where Arnold and Gerald were going out with sixth graders despite being in the fourth grade. They were meant to go to a school dance with them, got dressed up, and learned a few moves for it and everything. They got to the dance and actually had fun with the girls. I thought that the girls were planning some sort of prank against them and were going to laugh them out of the school hall, but it didn't happen. Arnold and Gerald actually put on a good show, and everyone there was impressed by them, except for the girls' jealous boyfriends. The girls didn't even turn against Arnold or Gerald. They stuck by them until the end of the night, then told them that although they had fun with them, they just wanted to mess with their boyfriends. The two boys went home defeated but not down because despite everything, they still had a good time and made a very good impression on the sixth graders. Not just the two girls, but the whole sixth grade. The episode stirred something inside me that I still don't understand, and I like that. This show was truly legendary. It tackles a lot of themes that are important to kids everywhere. It has kids playing in the neighborhood and community. It has episodes talking about the ups and downs of community school and how social hierarchies can turn against those who create them. I laughed at the episode with Rhonda where she was then put at the bottom for being broke when she was the one who would discard people for being broke. Karma had a nice way of dealing with her. There were beautiful episodes like when Mr. Hewin reunited with his long lost daughter through Arnold's help. If that episode didn't win an award, I'm filing a lawsuit. I don't know who needs to be sued, but someone will be. I also loved the episode where Arnold and the other fourth graders did a prank and the whole city fell for it. It was like the end of the world. Things escalated so much in that episode, and it was beyond funny how grown adults reacted the way they did to a prank conducted by 10-year-olds. The story of Arnold's parents is also touching. I like how the show actually went into that. Other kids' shows would just leave it like that. That his parents aren't around and that's it. Johnny Bravo is like that. We never see or hear of Johnny's dad, not even remotely. We never see parents in Ed, Ed, and Eddie, even though we know that they're around constantly. I don't think Adam's parents are ever shown in My Gym Partner's a Monkey. Anyway, I digress. I like their adventurous stories and was left curious about them. I heard that there was a movie released that talks about a jungle adventure Arnold has. I hope it's about how he goes looking for them. I haven't been able to watch it yet, but I will through totally legal means because the country I live in totally has access to such things like DVDs and streaming services beyond Netflix. Arnold got his dad's hair and his mom's head. He's the perfect mixture. I'd like to talk about how Helga made Arnold fall for Lila. That episode was totally not cool. Helga was responsible for a lot of Arnold's misery in that show. I get that it's some weird girl psychology thing where they treat you badly when they like you, but seriously, she got away with way too much douchery for me to like her as a character. But then they try to endear us to her by having Grandpa explain to Arnold how Grandma used to torment him when they were kids. They were also in the same class. Yeah, I know. It's like poetry. It rhymes. I still wish that his love story would be more like his dad's instead of his grandfather's. Well, whatever. I must also congratulate the show for touching on religion the way it did with Harold's bar mitzvah. I didn't know that kids' shows did that. The show was amazing for its time. It was everything one could hope for their child to watch because it was something ordinary but not so ordinary at the same time. It was a jewel that was meant to be preserved. It had so many life lessons. It even had Ernie go through some stuff too, like how him being short is an impediment at finding love. The episode when he gets to know a woman who rejects him for being short was really something. He calls her out and they get together in the end. Of course, Arnold helped him out because he was feeling unsure of himself due to his height. Sometimes you just need the courage to go after what you want. That's what that episode taught me. I sure hope Gerald ends up getting Phoebe. There's no way that the creators would let that ship sail. I will refuse to acknowledge that. Perhaps it was all part of the grand design to make us see that in glimpses before straight up showing it to us. The characters are all layered and explored extremely well. You feel like it's a world that you live in, and that's something sorely missing in today's animation. They've been trying these days, but something feels very safe, very formulaic about them. Hey Arnold wasn't like that. It had its own identity and its own mission. That's why it was as amazing as it was. I already mentioned my favorite character. My favorite episode is hard to choose from. I guess I can say that it's the one with the date problem, the season 1 finale. I'll never be able to look at Boyhood the same way again after that episode. Thanks everyone for watching the Hey Arnold Talk. We have many more such videos on the channel. Please check them out, leave a comment, and subscribe to our channel if you haven't yet. Check out our Facebook and Instagram pages for more cool stuff. We also have a blog. Have a good day.